had always trusted her, maybe too much. Our house had been my sanctuary, a place I thought was shared with someone who loved me as fiercely as I loved her. But the truth had a way of sneaking up on you, doesn't it? It started subtly, a phone always face down, sudden late-night texts, unexplained laughter when I walked into a room. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting, that I was imagining things. But instinct has a way of whispering truths that your heart doesn't want to hear. That Friday, she left the house in her usual confident stride, telling me she had an evening out with friends. Her perfume lingered, and for a moment, I allowed myself to believe her. But something inside me didn't rest. I watched her leave, then turned to the silence of our home. The air felt heavier than usual, thick with secrets. I pulled out my laptop, my hands shaking slightly as I checked the messages I had discreetly gathered over the past few weeks. There it was, the proof, messages not meant for friends, texts that weren't innocent. Every word screamed betrayal, every emoji a mocking reminder of her lies. I didn't call her out immediately. No dramatic confrontation, no shouting, no tears. I wanted her to feel the weight of what she had done. She had made her choices, now it was my turn to make mine, carefully, deliberately. I spent the evening preparing a little surprise, something that would stay with her long after the moment had passed. I went through the drawers, finding something she wouldn't expect, something intimate yet symbolic, a small box I had hidden years ago, our wedding photos, letters I had written but never sent, moments of trust she had broken. I laid it carefully on the bed, arranging it so that she couldn't miss it. Alongside it, I placed a simple note in my neat handwriting: some things are worth more than secrets. Some betrayals are unforgettable. By the time she returned, the house was quiet. I could hear her heels on the hardwood floor before she stepped into the bedroom, and I stayed hidden, watching her reaction from the doorway. She entered casually, expecting an empty room, maybe a forgotten note or two, certainly not the confrontation waiting silently on the bed. But the sight of the box made her freeze. Her smile faltered. The confidence in her eyes wavered as she slowly approached, trying to process what she was seeing. She lifted the note, reading it carefully, her fingers trembling slightly. And then she saw the contents, the photographs, the letters, the memories she thought she could betray with impunity. Her expression changed from confusion to panic in a matter of seconds. For the first time in months, maybe years, she looked genuinely vulnerable. Her lips parted as if to speak, but no words came out. She had underestimated me, underestimated the quiet patience I had cultivated while she thought she was getting away with her affair. I stepped into the room then, calm, collected, my presence enough to make her flinch. "Do you see it now?" I asked softly, my voice steady, almost detached. "Everything you thought was hidden, it's not. None of it is." She looked at me, her eyes wide, searching mine for an ounce of anger, an edge of rage, anything that could make this feel like a scene from one of those movies she secretly loved. But I gave her nothing but silence and the weight of her own choices. Her hands shook as she tried to pick up the letters, the photos, the memories she had destroyed. I didn't mean, she started, but I held up a hand. "Save it. I don't need your excuses, not tonight, not ever." I could see the realization dawning on her. The trust we had shared was gone, shattered irreparably, and no apology could glue the pieces back together. She sank onto the edge of the bed, staring at the box as though it held some magic that could reverse time. But the magic was gone, replaced by the stark, cold truth of betrayal. I watched her, feeling a mixture of sadness and liberation. Sadness for the love I had given and that had been wasted, and liberation for finally reclaiming the power she had taken from me. "Do you know what this is?" I asked, motioning to the box. She shook her head slightly. "This is everything I trusted you with. Every memory, every promise. You thought you could hide your betrayal, but some things leave a mark no matter how hard you try to cover them." She swallowed hard, tears glistening in her eyes, not from anger but from the shock of being caught, the weight of consequences finally landing on her shoulders. I wanted her to feel it, not for revenge, not for cruelty, but so she would understand that every choice has its moment of reckoning. After a long silence, I turned and walked toward the door. I didn't need to yell, didn't need to fight. My surprise had done the work for me. I left the room, leaving her alone with the proof of what she had thrown away. Outside, the air felt crisp and freeing, like a burden lifted off my chest. I realized that sometimes the most powerful confrontation is not the loudest one. Sometimes, it's quiet, deliberate, and unforgettable, just like the surprise waiting on that bed. She remained there for a long time, staring at the box, at the note, at the evidence of her own betrayal. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. My message had been delivered in full, without a single raised voice, without a single fight. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt the peace of knowing that I had taken control, that I had reclaimed what she thought she could steal. She thought her affair was hidden, but I had left her something she would never forget, a reminder that some secrets, some betrayals, always come home. And in that silence, that quiet aftermath, I finally understood that freedom isn't just leaving someone behind, it's leaving them with the truth.